Hey everyone, I'm Ultima456, you're the Ultimates, and welcome to another channel update video. Alright, so it's been quite some time since I made one. Apparently I checked and the last one was in November 14th last year, so yeah, almost like, what is that, December, January, February, March, April, yeah, like 5-ish months. And this one, usually I go for like a long time with these update videos, but I think this one's actually going to be a bit shorter because there's just not as much to talk about. But I wanted to make one just to kind of give you like an idea of like what I'm doing right now and where my head's at and all that kind of stuff. So first of all, just in terms of my personal life, it's actually been fairly stressful for the past few months, pretty much ever since I started 2022. But fortunately, just recently, like, things have gotten a lot better and I'm much happier like where I am and what I'm doing, and yeah, it's good, and I think that's going to continue. So it's things are going well and I'm happy, and that's really good because now I can actually focus on something like YouTube, which is really good. All right, so in terms of when you're seeing this video, it should be out the day after Ultra Despair Girls finishes, which is going to be Tuesday, at least for me it is. Yeah, it'll be a Tuesday for me. I'm recording this on the previous Saturday, so Monday, Sunday, Saturday. I'm recording this on Saturday. And first of all, I want to thank everyone who watched and followed along with Ultra Despair Girls. I know it's not the most popular game ever, but I wanted to really get through the whole Danganronpa series, and now we're so close. Like, we just have Danganronpa V3 to do, and it's I'm so excited for it because that is my favorite one, I think. I don't know, my opinion might change. I think like Ultra Despair Girls was one of my favorites. Like, it was up there in my ranking, but now it's actually, I think it's objectively the worst one. And it's not like a bad game by any means. It's just, it's, in my opinion, it's objectively the worst one. Just gonna wait for this plane to go by. Okay, it's still going, but you probably can't hear it now. Yeah, so it's objectively the worst one. Not a bad game by any means, but it's like, yeah, it's difficult to get through. It's also quite depressing, which is like, I think it's arguably the most depressing of all the games. But yeah, we're finished with it now. And as far as Danganronpa games go in general, the only one left right now is DV3. Unless they announce another one eventually at some point, which, I don't know, I feel like there's a chance that they could. Okay, so the thing everyone's waiting for, Elden Ring. What is going on with Elden Ring? Well, it's the talk of the town. It's a ridiculously big game, and that's an understatement. And unfortunately, at the moment, I haven't been able to actually start the guide yet because it is just so big. I'm about 72 hours in. I don't know technically where I am in terms of like completing the game. I think I'm like relatively close. Like, if I'm not mistaken, I think I could just go to the end of the game now. I think I've done pretty much everything that needs to be done, but there's still so many areas to explore. There's at least one big area I know that I haven't explored yet. So, there's that to do. I'm going to yeah, basically my plan, as I do most games, I think that's another plane, it's annoying. The way I do most games is that, like, I'll play through as much as I possibly can on the first playthrough, and then probably start making the guide like halfway through. But with this one, I really wanted to play all the way through, and it's how I want to do every game. I want to play all the way through, explore everything, trying to get 100%, so that I know, like, I have a general idea of where everything is when I start, and then I'll play again and I'll kind of like make more detailed notes and stuff, and then I'll play the actual guide. And that's kind of how I want to put this together. I also want to try and do my best to inject the story into the game, because I'm actually like a lot more interested in this game's story than I thought I would be. I thought I wouldn't care at all, but like, even though sometimes I'm skipping the dialogue, I am reading it. I'm like, okay. And I'm like kind of getting it. I'm like, huh, this is actually a little bit more interesting. And I'm like piecing it together, which is how FromSoft does their stories anyway. But I really wanted to try and inject the story as much as I can into the game and into the guide, which means it's going to take even longer to prepare this thing. But I think it's important, and I think there's a good chance that a lot of people are actually going to watch this, because now I've done pretty much every single FromSoft game, and eventually when Elden Ring gets done, I'll continue that trend. But a lot of people come to me and they know that the Souls games that I've done are all good, and they can get the platinum from it, and that's what I want to have people get with Elden Ring as well. But I think the story is actually kind of important, and I wanna play it and try and get that in there. So I'm gonna do my best to do that. I'll figure out. I'm probably just gonna be watching like a bunch of videos and then trying to piece it together as I play it. For the guide, and try and write down some stuff. So I don't know, that is going to take more time, but you know, it is what it is. That's how I want to make it, because I don't want to do something like that's, for lack of a better term, like half-assed. I want to make sure this is as good as it can possibly be, because it's just better for everyone in the long run. In terms of, so basically right now what I need is time. Fortunately, the way things have lined up, today is Saturday, and this next week, and actually the 2 weeks following that week, I only have to work 4 out of the 5 days for the next 3 weeks. And the reason for that is because the Easter holidays are coming up. So this coming Friday, so today's Saturday, but this coming Friday is going to be Good Friday. The following Monday will be Easter Monday, and the following Monday after that will be Anzac Day, which is it's an Australian and New Zealand holiday that commemorates soldiers who fought in Gallipoli during the First World War, and sort of like a combination of any wars and conflicts that they fought in, and it's a way to commemorate those soldiers. And usually, so it always falls on the 25th of April, and I can't remember, but it must have been the case. Last year and the year before, it fell on a Sunday and a Saturday, respectively. And when that happens, you don't get a day off. But now, because it fell on a Monday, we do get a day off. So we're going to have, so in the next 21 days, instead of working 15 days, I'm only going to be working 12, which means I have 3 extra days to kind of keep working on Elden Ring, which is good. It kind of, like, the timing kind of worked out. Unfortunately, what that does mean is that, like, there's just not going to be any content on the channel after this video for I don't know how long. I would love to put like a figure on it, but I also don't want to like promise something that I can't keep. What I will say is, like, it's highly doubtful that it will be more than like a month. And it's highly doubtful that it will be more than like 2 weeks. I think like 1 week, maybe less than that, might be possible, but it's just so difficult to say. You know, I don't want to put a number on it, but I'm kind of putting a number on it. But just to give you an idea that it's not a break for me, because I'll still be working on this stuff, but it will be like a bit of a, it sucks for me as well, because like I want to keep posting content, but at the same time it's like, well, I may as well just like focus all my attention on Elden Ring, try and get that ready, so that as soon as I can get the first episodes ready, like, we just have a nice steady stream. Because that's, at the end of the day, that's what I want to do. I don't want to have like days off. I don't want to put like, 3 episodes up and then say, hey, where's the next episode? It's like, I'm working on it. So yeah, it does kind of suck a little bit, but it's the best way that I can think of how to do it. I think that's the way to do it properly. So that's what I'm going to be doing. So yeah, unfortunately, after this video, there won't be any new content on the channel for a little while. As soon as I get that first episode ready, and as soon as I'm comfortable with everything else that I'm doing, I'll start uploading again, and you'll be seeing Elden Ring. Actually, one last thing that I'll mention, because the game is so big, I don't know, like, I have absolutely no idea how long Elden Ring is going to take. Funnily enough, I actually managed to pretty much bang on guess Ultra Despair Girls, because it ended up being 49 episodes. My guess was 50 episodes when I made the community post. And if I had split the first episode, which was an hour long, if I had split it into 3 episodes, it would have been 51 episodes in total. So it ended up being between 49 and 51, which is 50. So I don't know how I guessed that, but it just kind of worked out. With Elden Ring, if I had to guess, definitely more than 100 episodes, and I don't want to say it, but maybe more than 150 episodes. I don't know. I really, really don't know, because the thing with Elden Ring is that a lot of the time is just exploration, and then sort of not really knowing where to go, because they use the grace points to kind of point you in the right direction, like, this is sort of where you should be going. But then the way it works is like, you got to go around and down and back this, well, what is it? You got to get like the steed, then maybe you explore this area, then you go to that area, then you go down, then you got to go up, then you got to go sort of further up, then you got to go back down. There's a lot of and I'm doing that with the maps that you're seeing in reverse, but essentially it is very challenging to understand, like, where should I be going? Like, when you go to a new area and if you're getting absolutely trounced by the enemies there, it's like, okay, I probably shouldn't be here. But then there are some areas where, and even those areas, like even if you're getting one shot, if you manage to get an attack off and you see that you're doing 10, 15%, yeah, that part of you is like, yeah, I can do this, even though in your mind you're probably like, maybe I shouldn't be here. So it is very challenging. A lot of that time is spent exploring. So when you know where to go, that's going to cut like hours and hours and hours and hours off the total playtime. So yeah, the other thing is I don't want this to go forever. Like, as much as Elden Ring is fun and it's going to be very popular and all that kind of stuff, I don't want it to go forever. So one thought that I did have, and I think this is a good idea as long as I can pull it off, there are certain areas in the game where there are, how can I put it? So most of it is like open world exploration, but then every so often you'll have like a little, almost like a little Dark Souls area. So like the best example I can give is like at the beginning, near the beginning of the game, when you get to the first major area, it's called Stormvale Castle, and there are two major bosses there. And it's kind of like playing the beginning of Dark Souls, from like Firelink Shrine to Undead Burg to Undead Parish, and maybe including Sen's Fortress or something like that. Like, that whole stretch of the game, that's about the size of what like Stormvale Castle is. So it's like this very major area. And my thought was like, why don't I do 20-minute episodes for all the exploration stuff? And then maybe when I get to these major areas like Stormvale Castle, I put like maybe an hour episode into it, so that way we can get through like this massive chunk, especially because it's so dense. It's much easier for me to go like, all right, we're starting Stormvale Castle, let's go through it. Let's do this way, go up here, we'll go around at this fork, we're going to go left first, explore that area, then we're going to go back, because it is very the level design in From Software is always just so immaculate. And it's like those moments where you find a path and then the path leads you back as a shortcut to an area that you've been to before, and you're like, oh wow, like I wasn't expecting that at all. And they are so masterful at that, and it's made even more, like, it's kind of crazy when you, especially Stormvale Castle is the perfect example, because it's the first one in the game, so a lot of people play it. And I know that when I got there, I was like, wow, there are just so many branching paths. And once you finish everything, you go, okay, I can see. And it's not even like, I don't even know if there's a way to like do it where you kind of go from A to B to C to D to E to F, you know? I think you have to actually kind of go down one path, maybe complete that, then kind of go backwards and start another path, and then those two meet up. Like, it's going to take a while to put it into my head, like, which way should I go first? But I feel like that is probably the best way to do it. 20-minute episodes on kind of like doing the open world aspect, exploring, going to like mini caves and mini dungeons and doing all that stuff. So that way I can build, especially at the beginning of the game, build up a nice sort of bunch of episodes. And then I'll try and do like hour-long episodes for stuff like Stormvale Castle and all these other future areas. I'm not guaranteeing that, but that is kind of how I want to do it. The reason I don't want to guarantee it is because even something like Stormvale Castle, I feel like would probably take maybe 2-ish hours, maybe an hour and a half to like fully complete. And doing that and only having like 2 episodes worth to release after spending like an hour and a half like recording that, it does kind of make it puts more pressure on me. It's like, oh, I spent all this time and I could have had like 4 or 5 episodes or 6 episodes done, but I instead chose to do it as 2 episodes. So I'm going to have to figure out how that works, but that is kind of like a suggestion or an idea that I had of like how I could make it so that we can get through the game a bit quicker. So I don't know. All right. In terms of like gaming news and stuff, at the moment, there's a few things, and I really feel like massive announcements are coming. God of War 2 is imminent. I just keep getting like Twitter notifications about it constantly, and it's like, all right, we're going to see the release date really soon. I don't know when it's going to come out. I assume it'll probably come out while I'm doing Elden Ring. If it comes out like right after Elden Ring, cool. Like that's awesome as well. But yeah, I think God of War 2, the release is or the release date is imminent. We haven't seen Square Enix really talk about Final Fantasy 16, which I'm actually quite surprised about because right now Square Enix, if I'm not mistaken, wasn't Square Enix the company that said we take too long to release games? And now they have like Final Fantasy 16, Forspoken, Final Fantasy 7 Remake Part 2, and I think that State of Play recently, the last one, not the Harry Potter one, the one before, they had like another 2 games coming out, like something about a Valkyrie, which I think was related to like Valkyrie profile or whatever, and then something else. And I was like, how are you guys saying that? And I could be wrong about this because I don't remember, but it's like, how are you guys saying we take too long to release games, and now you're having like 17 different projects going at the same, like how many people do you have working for you? And it's kind of crazy. But in terms of that, like I really want to see some Final Fantasy 16 because, to be honest, I'm not like 100% interested in Final Fantasy 16, but I think it will be good. But I'm just desperate for some Final Fantasy VII Remake Part 2. Like, show me a screenshot, show me like a clip or something like that. Let me see what they've done to advance like the mechanics and all this kind of stuff, even though that stuff's probably way in the future. But yeah, I'm desperate for that. That's kind of like what I'm really looking forward to. In terms of what's left, so now in on the channel, all that's left for the games that I've had like this list going for many years now. So we got Elden Ring, Neo 2, Shadow of the Colossus, Final Fantasy VII Remake, the first part, and Danganronpa V3. So those are the games that I want to really focus on finishing off. As I said, I think Danganronpa V3 I'm going to try and do at the start of next year, as much as like whatever's going on, whichever games I'm playing, I'm going to try and time it so that I can play Danganronpa at the beginning of next year, because that's kind of like how I had it set a few years ago, and funnily enough, that's kind of how it's worked out. And then obviously there's like Elden Ring, which we'll be doing soon. Neo 2, which I know a lot of people are looking forward to and is also a big game. Shadow of the Colossus. I've played the original and it's a big game and it is kind of challenging here and there. And I know that the remake has like a lot of extra stuff. So I don't know exactly how big that game's going to be, but we'll get to that. And then of course, Final Fantasy VII Remake. In terms of the order, I don't want to speculate anything yet, but my guess would probably be that I would say, I think, well, after Elden Ring, I was like, I want to do Neo 2 because that's the one most people have been waiting for. But Neo 2 is probably around the same size as Elden Ring, or it's smaller, definitely, but it's also like as, if not more challenging than Elden Ring is. So maybe Final Fantasy VII Remake is kind of what I want to do after Elden Ring, because that's much easier. It's chapter based. I sort of have an idea of what to do because I've already played it. I'll play it again. It won't take me as long to like actually get through this entire game. I can get through it a lot quicker. So that's my guess. No promises, but yeah, I think Final Fantasy VII Remake would probably come after Elden Ring, and then maybe Neo 2, or if God of War 2 is out by that point, I'll probably be playing that. I don't know. We'll see. It's really, really hard to say. Yeah, there's pretty much, I think that's probably where I'm going to end the video. So we're at 20 minutes, which ended up still being like pretty long. I know normally I do like longer update videos, but there just really hasn't been much to talk about recently apart from this, unless I'm missing something massive. I don't know. I can't think of anything massive that happened in the gaming industry. What else? I'm just like looking at my little notes here, just trying to figure out. So yeah, thanks as always for like, sticking with me. The fact that every so often I'll get like tons of comments. Some days I get like no comments, and then other days I get like 12 comments. I'm like, geez, that's crazy. But yeah, video views have been quite low recently, and that's to be expected because of Danganronpa. But I expect that that's gonna really I'm gonna gain some traction back once I start doing Elden Ring. So that's cool to look forward to. And yeah, there's pretty much nothing else to say. Thank you as always for watching. I do hope you enjoy. I'm really going to be working on, like, as soon as I finish doing this, I'm going to get it edited and ready for upload, or soon, because I've still got a few days before it actually gets published. But I'm pretty much going to be playing Elden Ring for the rest of today and tomorrow. and yeah, just working on it as hard as I possibly can, getting through as much as I possibly can, and getting it ready as soon as I possibly can. So yeah, I'm sorry that there has to be kind of like a little interim break from videos, but you know, it gives you guys time to watch whatever else you want to watch on my channel or on other people's channel. You know, sometimes I remember when I was like watching certain channels and trying to catch up, I was like, I kind of wish you would stop uploading for like one day so I could catch up on one video. But nah, there's always time to catch up. So, but regardless, yeah, that's just how it is. All right, I don't know how to end this video because I'm already rambling, but we'll leave it here. Thank you so much for watching. My name is Ultima456. You're the Ultimates, and I'll see you next time.